All right, I'm going to switch things up a little bit here now. So, we're going to get into a series over the next few weeks about key leadership principles that I wish I had known when I was a younger leader or just a young man overall. I hope that this is useful for you. So, in terms of the first key leadership principle that I wish I had known earlier in life, is wisdom. Wisdom does not come naturally. This might be obvious to some of us who are a little bit older and seasoned, but wisdom is a game that gets way more stacked in our favor only as time progresses. I mean, seriously, if you think about when you were 18 years old, like how dumb were you? Like, I know I was really, really dumb. I didn't properly understand circumstances, much less the consequences of my actions, etc. So now sometimes that could be used to one's advantage, right? So, for example, when you're young and you feel that the world's your oyster and you can't fail, that's great. That's awesome motivation. Go and get the job done. But at the same time, there has to be wisdom to weigh the pros and cons of a potential action. And you've got to be able to assess what the pathway looks like 5 miles down the road. It's really critical that as a young man or a woman who wants to be a leader, you're able to understand that there's going to be times where you don't know what the proper course of action is, and honestly that's okay. um, Sometimes you don't know, and that's fine, and the important thing is to recognize these situations though and know who to go to for sound advice. Now, if we look in the Bible, James 2 verse 5 says that if you any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God. James goes on to talk about how to ask God in chapter 4, where he says, when you ask, you do not receive because you ask with the wrong motives. So please pay attention to this, because if we're talking about asking God to light up our path and give us wisdom, you have to do it for the right reasons. If you're asking God to show you the way so you can get a Lamborghini or something, that's not the right way to do it. And the Bible actually says that it warns us that these types of prayers are usually not listened to. So now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a nice car or wanting a nice car. I love cars. I'll be the first one to say that. It's but at the same time, the ability to purchase something nice should be a byproduct of the fruits of your labor, not the reason for you to pray to God to bless you. It's a big difference. We have to be humble. We've got to remember that part of being a leader is kneeling before God and asking how we can serve his purpose and how we serve others. Um, we always have to stay humble. We have to know that what we do shouldn't be to raise ourselves up, but to raise others up. Um, I'll probably talk about servant leadership a little bit in another video, but one of the starting points to a leadership journey has to be the realization that you need to be humble. You need to be humble enough to ask God for help and to ask an older generation for help too. Now, you do have to be a little careful here and make sure that the individuals that you're consulting are also grounded in the faith and will not give you bad advice. So don't think that just because someone is older than you, they are wiser, right? This couldn't be further from the truth. Sometimes you come across folks who don't know what they're talking about. Everybody's on their own wisdom journey. Some individuals are going to be more advanced than others, exclusive of age or sometimes even life experiences. The key thing is to really recognize when we are lacking in wisdom and who the proper individuals are that we can go to for advice. As a leader, you got to be the first one that acknowledges your own faults and shortcomings and seeks out wisdom. I encourage you to read James 5:13 through 16, where the Bible encourages us to pray in multiple aspects of our lives. All right. God bless.